What's up, Michigan fans? It's Clayton Safey here with the Wolverine.com, breaking down our top 5 takeaways from the Wolverines' 41-17 bludgeoning of Penn State. First, the offensive line was flat out dominant. Michigan ran for 418 yards, the third most rushing yards Penn State has ever allowed in a game, and the Wolverines' most since putting up 481 in a 78-0 win over Rutgers in 2016. The men up front created huge holes to spring Michigan's running backs, who we'll talk about in just a second. In the past game, quarterback J.J. McCarthy was sacked just once and pressured on only 6 occasions. Penn State, like Ohio State last November, leaves the big house with an identity crisis after getting bullied by the Maize and Blue up front. Before we get to our second takeaway, make sure to drop a like on this video if you're pumped about Michigan's big win and 7-0 start. And as always, subscribe to our channel for more content coming your way. Number 2, Michigan's running backs ran wild and were outstanding as well. The holes were big, as we mentioned, but give junior Blake Corum and sophomore Donovan Edwards a ton of credit. Corum ran 28 times for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Edwards had 16 carries for a career-high 173 yards and 2 scores. At one point in the third quarter, Edwards ripped off a 67-yard touchdown run to take the lead. The defense turned Penn State over on downs, and then Corum did the rest. He dashed 61 yards for a Michigan touchdown on the first play of the next possession. That completely turned the momentum of the game back in Michigan's favor after Penn State got an early third quarter lead. Number 3, 3 plays kept Penn State in the game. Late in the second quarter, the Nittany Lions led 14-13 despite having just 1 first down to Michigan's 14. At halftime, the Wolverines had a 16-14 edge despite having 18 first downs to Penn State's 1. Early in the third quarter, Penn State held that 17-16 lead that we already mentioned. For a lot of the game, the scoreboard did not indicate how dominant Michigan was. Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford ran 62 yards on a read option keeper that got the Nittany Lions down to the 4-yard line, setting up a touchdown a few plays later. On Michigan's next drive, J.J. McCarthy had a pass tipped, bounced off a defender's helmet, and intercepted. Penn State linebacker Curtis Jacobs ran it back for a touchdown, and just like that, the Nittany Lions had the lead. Early in the third quarter, Clifford connected on a 48-yard pass to wide receiver Harrison Wallace III that set up a field goal to take that third quarter lead. But in the end, the score caught up with the stat sheet, and Michigan ran away with the victory. Takeaway number 4, Michigan's defense completely shut down Penn State's much improved offense. There was a ton of talk about the Nittany Lions rushing attack coming into the game, but running backs Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen combined for only 35 yards on 12 carries. Clifford has been good behind center this year, but he completed only 7 of his 19 attempts for 120 yards. His 36.8 completion percentage was the worst of his career in a game in which he's attempted 10 or more passes. Michigan's defense allowed only 83 first-half yards. That's the 5th time in 7 games this season that an opponent has failed to reach 100 yards by halftime. And Penn State scored 3 points in the third quarter. That's just 6 points now that Michigan has given up in the third quarter this season through 7 games. And for Penn State, there wasn't much success after that in the second half either. After that early field goal in the third quarter, Michigan held the Nittany Lions scoreless. Number 5, and finally, Michigan is already on to Michigan State. Jim Harbaugh walked up the tunnel to the locker room after the win, saw Blake Corum, congratulated him on his fantastic performance. Corum's response, though, was that he's already on to Michigan State. Harbaugh congratulated his offensive line as well. They said the same exact thing, on to Michigan State, coach. In the post-game press conference, J.J. McCarthy also indicated that Michigan is already thinking about getting the Paul Bunyan Trophy back. Despite having a bye week this week, all eyes are on the green and white. Thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to our channel for more content.